monitors, just to make sure that we're all comfortable with the code. I want to say this again. I don't know of any other company in my industry who is offering this level of transparency.
Well, why are there two different versions of apps, one in China and one in the United States?
It's just a different business.
Well, I think we all know the reason that the Chinese get a different version, because ByteDance puts China first and America last. And, you know, TikTok has, with everything we've heard today, sir, when you see 13-year-olds, 6-year-olds, you see the degradation that's happening to our youth and our society. You know, it's deceptive, and it's destructive comment, and it's comments. And the worst thing is that it's deliberate, sir. And that's not acceptable. And with that, Chairwoman, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentlelady from Iowa, Ms. Miller-Meeks, recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just like to thank our witness, Mr. Chu. Having been in the hot seat, so to speak, before when I was in State Senate, I know how challenging this can be, and thank you for your demeanor throughout all of this. But certainly, as you can see, in a bipartisan way, we have concerns, and those concerns are valid. And this is a yes or no question. Does TikTok track users' individual keystrokes?
Only for security purposes, for example, detecting bots, but we don't monitor what users say.
So the only purpose that you would monitor keystrokes is for security purposes.
I can get back to you on more specifics, but this is not unlike what many other companies in the industry does.
So the keystroke monitoring does not go beyond what common industry practice in comparison to platforms like Facebook or Instagram use?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And does TikTok keep records of users' credit cards and passwords?
I'm not aware of that. You don't need that to log in. Of course, I can get back to you on specifics if you make a transaction on an e-commerce platform. But regardless, all that US data will be stored within the Project Texas firewall, within the Oracle Cloud infrastructure and overseen by American personnel.
So you would store credit card and password information?
I need to check on the specifics. We are launching a pilot e-commerce plan, and we're making sure that that data is very secure within the Oracle Cloud infrastructure.
I think you've made a point of saying that your platform is not different than other platforms on social media, and therefore are no more responsible than Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or the other social media platforms. The concern, however, comes with where the technology is generated and whom it is owned by. And in the case of other companies, it is generated in the U.S., under U.S. guidelines, under U.S. privacy laws, with certain parameters versus generated through a parent company, ByteDance, which, as we know, is susceptible to the laws of the Chinese Communist Party, which has access to all of that data and information. And I understand that TikTok has just reinstated Enos Kanter's account recently. So our concern, and the question I have for you is, why would China or the Chinese Communist Party be opposed to a forced sale of TikTok?
I cannot speak on behalf of the Chinese government. I can say that we designed Project Texas to take it forward here in the United States. And I believe it offers unprecedented protection for U.S. user data.
Yeah, I think the problem is when there is a lack of transparency, then that leads people to believe that there's something more nefarious and that there is, in fact, data that is captured, is stored, and poses a risk not only to children in the United States, but also poses a risk to national security. With that, I yield the rest of my time to my colleague, Jay Obernolte.
Thank the gentlelady from Iowa for yielding. Mr. Chu, I'd like to continue our discussion about Project Texas and the technical details about what you're proposing to do. So you are migrating all storage of U.S. user data to the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, and you think that that'll be done by the end of the year. Was that right?
Again, I can get back to you on the technical parts of it. The migration today, by default, all new U.S. data is stored by default.
Sir, I'm just using what you said in your testimony in your opening here.
It is stored there by default. What I said in my testimony is I'm deleting legacy data that sits
see.
in Virginia
Okay.
and Singapore. That's the difference.
When this migration is complete, who will have access to that data?
Right now, a team called Tik Tok US Data Security, led by
USDS.
American personnel, they have access to that. We have begun this operations already.
Okay, but the app itself has access to the data, correct?
Only through them. Any employees that have the data are
Well,
through
no, what I
them.
mean is like if I lose my iPhone and I reinstall the app and I put in my username and password, my app will reconnect to the mothership and download some of that data, my settings.
That's not the way it works. No, that's not the way it works. It will go through the Oracle cloud infrastructure and that team that looks after this.
Yes, I realize that. So let me ask you this. What would prevent then someone with detailed technical knowledge of the way the app is constructed from creating an almost identical version of the app that could also access that data?
That's what we are giving you third-party monitors and transparency.
Yeah, but they're monitoring the source code for your app. I mean, the ByteDance, these engineers have been working on this app for years. What would prevent them from making an app that could also access that data?
Congressman, I think we're going into the area where, what if there's a hacker? What if there is this?
Okay.
This is a common industry problem, as you know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, I see my time's expired. It illustrates the point.
Okay.
I'm just skeptical that you're technically
Gentleman's
able
time
to
has
do
expired.
what you
Gentlelady's time
promised.
has expired. Mr. Chu, I recognize that we have run over. I appreciate your time. We have just a few members left and would appreciate the chance for them to get to answer or ask their 5 minutes worth of questions. Gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Griffith, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Mr. Chu, you share legal counsel lawyers with ByteDance, yes or no?
Yes, we do.
And you testified that you prepared extensively with your legal team for this hearing, yes or no?
With my team in D.C., including the...
Including some of your legal counsel.
Yes.
Right. And did they tell you about the report to the Australian Senate of March 14th that I referenced earlier? Did they tell you that that report was out there, yes or no?
I cannot recall how I found out about the report.
But you know about the report?
I can check
Okay.
and, yeah.
And did they tell you to favorably cite the Citizens Lab in your written testimony today? Yes or no?
Congressman, I need to get back to you on specifics.
They helped you with the preparation of your written statement, though, didn't they?
A team prepares, yes.
Yes. And did they tell you that the director of Citizen Lab says he has called out your company for misrepresenting their report repeatedly and did so as late as yesterday? Did they tell you about that? Yes or no?
Congressman, the Citizen Lab is saying they cannot prove a negative, which is what I've been trying to do for the last 4 hours.
All right. But you cited it favorably as saying that it did positive things for you. That being said, let me ask you this. You keep talking about transparency, but you haven't been transparent with us here today. You were asked earlier by Mr. Hudson if you owned stock in ByteDance. You said you didn't want to reveal that. Well, we're trying to figure out what the ties are between ByteDance and TikTok. I'm not going to ask you how many shares you own, but do you own shares in ByteDance, sir?
Yes, I do.
All right, there you go. How about in TikTok?
Right now, all employees own shares in one.
Yeah, sure.